Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This can be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. Okay? Remember that tarot is a tool, it is not the final rule. So it's a good idea to keep an empty cup when you are on Lady Noble's channel. You really want to see what's up. All right, collective, we're starting off with Archangel Kushel, okay? The angel of punishment. Archangel Kushel, the angel of punishment, okay? He is the punisher of lies. Beware of those who break promises. Kushel will find you. Betrayal of vows come at a cost. Shards of lies will fly, cutting your skin, embedding your flesh, and piercing your heart. As long as lies persist, you will live in the shadow of the punishment angel's wings. Okay? And so, this guardian angel here is clearly saying that at this time, I've been speaking on a lot of the videos about the masses receiving worldwide. Everyone is receiving a lot of clarity. There are people who are receiving a lot of justice and retribution in their life. But a lot of questions are being answered. A lot of concerns, anything that a person has been concerned about, or if they're desiring or seeking clarity on any matter, doesn't matter whether you're a celebrity, a non-celebrity, or not. People are receiving their truth. And so, in the energy that we are in this paradigm, at this current time, we are also witnessing the penalty of those who have tried to maintain the falsehoods, the lies. Those who have tried to control and use their authority, possibly to activate a certain level of force onto others. Just making an environment or an experience in life for a person, whether you are famous, whether you work a 9 to 5, whether this is something that's going on in your family, in your relationship, in your household, anyone that has been possibly bullying, I call it bullying, bullying, slandering your character, telling lies on you, spreading lies on you. Maybe the slander of your character, maybe it caused you to be treated a particular way. Maybe you were overlooked for something. Maybe you were mistreated. Maybe you were cheated. Okay, Spirit is saying maybe you were cheated out of something that was rightfully yours. And there were moments and times where you could have, responded and retaliated, but you chose not to do so because you always trust and knew. Hope you can see that there's a higher power working for you on your behalf. And so the guardian angel, Kushael, is saying that there is, punishment. There is karma. No one is perfect. Okay. We're not talking about good versus evil. You're a better person. You're the worst person. But what we're speaking of in this read here is, there is a large portion of people whom have hid behind a mask of lies for a long period of time. And people have used their authority to create misfortune and mishaps, and also deceive and cheat people out of what is owed to them and what is due to them. This could be something that's going on in your workplace. Maybe you're due for a promotion or a raise. Maybe it was promised to you. It never happened. Maybe you have spoken up about being treated a certain way and you're feeling like you're ignored, you're being disregarded. Okay. You could work somewhere where there's a lot of corruption going on within the workplace, where people are ganging up and attacking certain individuals. Especially the kind of work atmosphere that has those cliques, how people like to join in cliques and groups and just try to intimidate or make it hard for people. When it comes to your livelihood, that's something that you utilize to for your survival, for your family, and no one should have to wake up on a daily and, go to their job, their place of employment, and be concerned or full of fury or stress or aggravation because someone in authority is choosing to abuse or misuse their authority towards other. And so that's just one example, but this could also be in a relationship. This could be in a romantic sense. Maybe you are dating someone, you could even be married, or a living spouse, okay, who is constantly just not being honest, being very disloyal, just not being straightforward. You're either, in a relationship or you're out of a relationship. You're either going to be, dedicated or you're not. It's just that simple. So I'm not saying that people don't have to take accountability for choosing to stay in bad connections, but there is a energy present here at this time. Spirit is saying those who have those who you have witnessed and you feel like, well, this person gets away with everything. Well, this person has been doing this for years. Well, this person, they're always listening to them. They're always favored. And this could be someone who is very diabolical. This could be someone who has run amok for a long time. Whether this is a place of employment, your relationship, a friendship, someone in the community, whomever, this energy can reside in many places, okay? Anywhere, collective, where you feel unfairness has been demonstrated, has been distributed among a person or a group of people. Well, it's a new day, and that energy is dissipating, okay? One second. So it's a new day, and that energy is dissipating. It is no longer. And so, these are people who thought that they would be able to get away with misusing and stealing, and all the corruption that they have been a part of. They were under the impression that they would always be in control. There are people, collective, as weird as it sounds, that really feel that life is ran one way, that they will always be in control, that they will always be on the winning side. There are people who actually think in that manner. They feel like they will always be in power. They're untouchable. No one will come and correct them. Like, who's going to come and correct me? Who's going to check me? Check who? There are people who actually have that kind of energy, and it's from being in the energy of running amok for so long, misusing or abusing their authority for so long, where they become haughty or arrogant in their actions. But it is a new day. So Kushel, the guardian angel, is here to let you know that things are changing and shifting. There is a large dose of clarity. Let's tap into the tarot here that is taking place here on planet Earth worldwide. Doesn't matter who you are, where you live, where you're from, what kind of career you have, whether you're married, single, whether you use cocoa butter or shea butter, doesn't matter. There is a lot of truth being told and revealed. And some are able to cope with this truth and some aren't. Now, those who are, spoiled and accustomed to having their way, these are the people who are having difficult times, at this time right now. These are the people who are likely to pit people up against each other so that they can compete and be competitive. This could be someone on a work site, on your job, somewhere you work, or somewhere that you're building a career. These are the type of people who are likely to pit people against each other, slander character, start rumors, gossip, turning partners or employees against one another, promising, as I was just speaking, promising some kind of reward. Whoever does this, whoever does this, get that. And everyone works hard to do what they were told, but they find that there's no reward in the end. What people are finding is that, there's a penalty for those who choose to run amok or assist a person who was involved in this corruption or this betrayal or this deceitful behavior or this theft. This could be many things, okay? And so it is a shocking surprise, with the tower energy here, as you see the squirrel looking up, and instead of, getting their food source and running along, they're in shock, they're in disbelief. They can't believe that this tower moment is happening, because what they should be doing is grabbing their food, like, let me get out of here. But they're in shock because they're saying to themselves, I never thought this day would come. And with all the butterflies in this picture here being depicted, that's confirmation that a change is taking place. We're constantly in the energy of metamorphosis. Changes are constantly happening inside and outside and around us. And some are in our control and some things aren't. But this transformation is a transformation for those who have chosen to abuse their authority to be removed, to be replaced. There are people stepping down from their positions. There are people who are giving speeches, going away speeches. My name is so and so. I'll be stepping down today. You're going to hear a lot of that. The year is coming to an end, but you're going to continuously, Spirit is saying, for the next 2.5 to 3 years, it's going to be a plethora of people resigning, stepping down from high profile positions as well. In many areas, whether these are famous people, whether these are people who are working for big corporations or large entities, it's happening on many levels. So Spirit is saying that you can rest assured that justice is being served. Things will never stay in one direction. Doesn't matter, with the predator or, this person thought, they were getting away with, it's just not going to happen. Doesn't matter. They may have thought they'll always be in a position of power and no one can touch them and no one can replace them. But the divine is here and your ancestors are here to let you know. They want you, collective, to rest assured. Pay attention to the scoreboard. Be mindful of your words, your actions, and thoughts. But there is nothing for you to be insecure about. There is nothing for you to be anxious about. And don't be so overly invested in everything that you are hearing, because there are a lot of lies being told. Now, this just isn't on television. I'm picking up, there are some lies being told in a family, within a family group. Okay, maybe you have a family that does a lot of chattering amongst each other. Maybe you're in a family that competes with each other. Maybe you have aunts and uncles or siblings or cousins who like to compete with each other and compare. All right, this could be something that has been done your entire life. Don't allow the actions of others or the conversations to allow you to become shook and shaken and alarmed. You can rest assured that this is your moment to receive your justice. Okay. And so with judgment here, judgment is taking place and it's time. This is confirmation once again. It is time for a shift. It is time for a change. With the tower energy here, this is spiritual. The divine is stepping in. The ancestors are speaking, and on all these situations that we are hearing in the media, even if this is something going on in your personal life, in your neighborhood, in your family circle, whether it's immediate or your extended family, judgment has been called. It's time for a change, and this change that is taking place, there's nothing, it can't be avoided, collective. So those who are trying to box with God, they're trying to box with the universe, they're trying to box with gravity, even if they want to go to their cauldron and maybe do some kind of ritual, well, that magis is dwindling, it's no longer any good. It's the dimension currently that Mother Earth and Mother Gaia is currently in at this time. Those old tricks don't work anymore. Okay, the things that people used to do to manipulate and control is just not working anymore. You may be saying this to yourself. You may have someone that you're involved with, that was very, not honest with you, not direct with you. And you could be saying to yourself, you know what, I'm outgrowing this connection. Those old tricks just ain't working anymore. So-and-so used to make my toes curl, but you know what? Them tricks don't work anymore. I used to answer so-and-so a text message and phone call, but you know what? They're just not appealing to you. They're not desirable, meaning the things that used to interest you and used to keep you wrapped around someone's finger or keep you closely engaged, you're no longer interested. Okay. with the Ace of Wands here, you are desiring to go higher. You are desiring to learn more, to know more, and to grow furthermore in your life as you move forward. You trust and know that there is more than what meets the two eyes, and there's more that is behind the curtain. And I'm talking to someone who's willing to apply themselves, because you're looking and you are observing life and all that you have endured, and you're like, wait a minute. Out of all the ish I have seen and experienced, I might as well do my own thing. I don't have to follow tradition. I don't have to follow tradition if it's something my family did. I don't have to follow tradition if it's a pagan holiday. I don't have to do what everyone else is doing. I can actually do me. So I'm speaking to someone who's like going through a beautiful moment of an awakening and enlightening moment in their life. So much so, you're very courageous. You see how she stands there with no shoes on, walking on the sword. And check it out, she's on her tippy toes, collective. Her tippy toes. And these lights here and these birds are indicating her connection, her spiritual connection that is being fine-tuned while she trusts the process. She's remaining confident, and she's remaining very strong in her faith that yes, she know there's an opening here, and this is a sword, and she has no shoes. So her attention is on the book. So she knows there's a possibility if she's not careful, but she is expecting a positive outcome. And so I'm picking up that you are in a space and a place where your confidence is increasing. You're no longer believing the lies. No one can pull wool over your eyes. You're not looking out of rose-colored glasses. You're wiping them off, keeping them clean, and you're like, look, I know who I am, where I am, and therefore I understand what is taking place. So you're only, focused on truth. Anything that is of the past, lies, deceit. I don't see you giving it any attention. And you're also, you've come to a point where you understand that you can be more successful and more stable on your feet when you choose to stand in your truth and just be your original, authentic self. Life is not perfect for no one. None of us are perfect. We have moments that we may experience, because this is a school of life that may make us uncomfortable. But you understand that standing in your authenticity is the gift that keeps on giving to you, collective, is the gift that will help you land on your feet. And you're doing this continuously, repetitively, and you're finding that just simply being yourself and standing in your truth is what magnifies the star player within you. The light is within you. All that you desire is within you. The things that you thought you knew, you understand, and you're willing to go through the process of the unlearning. And congratulations to you, because a lot of people, they want to box with the theory and the idea of allowing the process of the unlearning. The unlearning is what you thought you knew. You choose to surrender it, and you're not boxing with the idea, the process, or the theory. You're choosing to surrender it because you're willing to accept your truth. You're willing to accept your truth. You're willing to accept your authenticity and not be overly concerned with what someone is thinking about you. You understand at this time, the smartest and wisest thing a person can do is begin to not care about the opinions of others. Because if you become so saturated, in what someone's thinking of you, then that means you're not controlling your life. That means you have given the steering wheel to the world, to society, to those outside of you. That means you are relinquishing your control. You're giving the wheel to someone else, and you're trusting them to make choices for you. And so you understand the benefits of standing in your truth. You understand how to gain wisdom, and it is to be willing to accept the knowledge that is being given to you so that you can apply it, and it turns into wisdom over time. And so as that wisdom is gained, male or female, we know gender is fluid in tarot, you understand how to co-create with the universe. You understand how to be in the flow as things will be constantly changing around you, and inside of you as well. And anything that's taking place outside, it's happening somewhere on the inside. So if there's anything that you're drawn to right now, collective, if there's something in the media, and what I'm about to say is different for everyone. If there is something that you are hearing about, whether it's a topic, something in the media, something at work, maybe you're eating your lunch and you're hearing, your coworkers talk about the same old thing. If there's something triggering you or bothering you, that is something that is going on the inside of you, and you need to address that. You need to find out and ask yourself, why is this bothering me? What are you trying to communicate to me? What do I need to work on? And only you know the answer to what I am saying. That is personal and private. And that is something done between you and the divine. But as I'm holding the Empress energy here, that's for someone who really needed to hear that. Because there's something that you're hearing in the media that could be really disturbing your peace or your groove. And it's not that you're in fear, but you're curious about whether or not you should give this topic or this rumor or whatever this is any more of your attention, or you want to know if it's real or it's fake. Okay. So go within. Okay. So as I hold the Empress card here, the Empress is very nurturing and caring. So take time to make sure you're always nurturing and pouring into yourself just as much power and energy that we distribute on a daily, and we give it away. We give away so much of our power. Sometimes we are aware and sometimes we aren't. And that's okay. Everyone will not come into an awakening at the same time. No two planes will take off at the same time. It wouldn't be wise, nor would it be safe. Everyone is not going to cross the street at 12 noon to have lunch. Someone is going to wait to 12:45. Someone may go, at 11:42. But either way, because we are uniquely, individually, divinely created, you need to trust and know that you're fully capable of bringing into fruition anything in your life that you desire. And there are a lot of measurements that are presented to us and a lot of tools, starting with social media and many other sources. But I'm just going to say social media is one of them that can be utilized, for our highest good. And instead of complaining and whining, we can harness. Yeah, I said whining. We can harness the energy that is going on. And instead of being afraid of things, learn about it, do research. Don't allow the topic of discussions to make you hyper, Um, Learn how to work AI, embrace the change. Okay. See how it can help you and benefit you. Okay. Whether you want to do something on social media or off social media, learn how to be in the flow of change. Find something that works for you. We're all different people. There's something that we all can do. We're all born with more than one gift. And I believe even more than two, but I'm going to say everyone is born with more than one gift that they can utilize. So it's time to be creative. It's time to tap in and be creative. And those ideas that maybe over the years while you're at work or you're talking on the phone, you're having a good conversation, whether it's on the phone or in person, and you're like, I sure should have started that business. I like making clothes. Those ideas that you have. Or maybe you're a hairstylist, but you only do your hair. Okay, I know the feeling because you don't want to be bothered, or maybe you know how to cut hair, but you only cut your hair, or you only cut your son's hair. That's a hobby, that's a skill. Okay, maybe you're a great cook, you're a terrific cook. Everyone loves your food. I'm just naming a few things, but there is something that you can do. This is for somebody, whoever needs to hear it, that can keep you in the flow. So instead of panicking and being frantic, Spirit wants you to remain grateful and for you to go within. It's time for you to tap in. They want you with the Three of Wands to, brighten your horizons and shift your perception at how you're looking at things. It may be a storm or brewing, but that does not mean it has to affect you. There may be a storm or brewing. You may see it. It's right in front of you, but it doesn't mean that it's going to harm you. So expect a positive outcome. Remain optimistic about your present as well as your future. Stand in your power, okay? And this is not about pretending. This is a way of life that not just you, but we would be a good idea to work on expecting a good outcome, seeing the cup half full, standing in optimism seriously, because at the end of the day, beginning and the middle, you're left with you. It's you. When you exit up out of this avatar, it's you. So you might as well give yourself your best shot. you know, be positive, be loving to yourself, and no matter what's going on, you will overcome, you will survive. We have to have the experiences so that we're able to learn and grow. The experiences that you have aren't to harm you or to hurt you. You know, there's light in every dark situation, just like those who have crossed you in the wrong way or deceived you or stole something from you, or now I'm getting falsified documents. Every time I touch this card, I'm getting different energy here. That person has to pay. So there's light coming in this situation. There are some people who are going to be receiving justice that they thought would never ever come, would never ever come. You may have made some phone calls or reached out to some people. Maybe you applied for something, you never got an answer. Maybe someone told you they're going to mail you something. That answer is going to pop up and it's going to have you smiling and you're going to be very happy. It's going to have you smiling. It's going to have you up. Look at it backwards. It's going to have you up and moving. Okay. Ready to go. Maybe you're going to do some moon gazing. Maybe you're going to take your wine or your champagne and go outside with your friends and have you a sip or whatever it is, whatever beverage you partake in. All are welcome here on this channel. But there's a lot of justice being received, but you must be patient and just be persistent. Keep living. Don't give up on yourself because you're hearing about a tragedy. I'm hearing you may hear about something sad or a tragedy that may happen to someone else. Send love, send condolences, but don't take that energy and harness it and assume, oh, I'm just going to stop going to work. Oh, I'm just going to stop making my bed. Oh, I'm just going to stop brushing my teeth. Oh, I'm just going to have a pity party. That's not it. Don't be fooled. Don't allow anyone or anything to trick you out of your spot. There's a lot of great blessings and favor, a lot of positive things that are happening. And just because things are a little shaky, baby, doesn't mean the sun isn't coming out. With the King of Cups energy here, this is the energy of someone sitting on their throne, knowing who they are and having more than enough. And anyone on the throne has earned the right of passage. So with the King of Cups here, this is your season to receive justice in your just due. No more having to compete. No more wondering when will it be over. Remember, but keep in mind, Spirit is saying, life, this is the school of life. You're here to learn. So when you go through different circumstances or experiences that have made you uncomfortable or feel uneasy, good, bad, happy, sad, or tragic, the goal is to get through it, move past it. No one said you had to do it instantly. It takes time. The goal is to get through it and then move on. It's like school, like real school. You pass the class and the teacher does what? They give you a grade so you can go to the next level. Well, that's what it's about here in the Matrix. That's what it's about here on planet Earth. The things that you endure is not to hurt you and harm you. And Spirit does not want you, and your ancestors do not want you internalizing the things you have experienced as if you're not loved. We all are loved. We all hold value. We all have some form of importance. It doesn't matter about who doesn't like you. It doesn't matter because maybe your husband or wife want a divorce, or you're not getting along with your family, or they called you big head in the 5th grade, or it does not matter. That those things are extra. We are blessed. We're given with so much to be blessed and thankful for, but those are extras. Those extras are added on to us while we're here on planet Earth, while we're here fulfilling our contractual duties, spiritually speaking. Those are the extras, the houses, the cars, the money, so don't allow, superficial things, material things, especially, or experience to make you feel like you're not loved, to make you feel like you're not worthy, like you're not important or you're not valued. It doesn't matter what your upbringing was. It doesn't matter that you were mistreated. I'm not trying to say what you went through is nothing. What I'm saying, Spirit is saying, don't get it twisted. Don't be mistaken and assume that you're being punished, because that's a lie. That's a lie, and you need to stop telling yourself that. The pity party, you can let it go. Okay. And also we're all here to learn, and we all are experiencing different things at different times throughout our entire lives. We all have stories to tell about things we are enduring that we don't like, every last one of us. And it has nothing to do with money. Some people think, oh, if I had this money, everything will be perfect. Honey, you can talk to a billionaire and ask them, and they'll let you know, no, there's even more things to deal with. The higher you go, there's more things to deal with and consider. Okay? They can't even walk down the street. Think about that. They got to really worry about who to trust. Think about that. Okay? So, the whole objective of this message is a change is here. You are witnessing a lot of cosmic energy at play. The energy is heightened. It has to be a storm in order for the sun to come out again. It's like having a rainy day. It's like being in Seattle, having multiple days of rain just showering down day after day. And one day out of the week, you get one sunny day. You know, those storms have to come for the sun to shine again. It has to rain, so, we can get our fruits and our vegetables. Mother Gaia needs the water. It has to rain sometime. The storms have to come, but it's not going to last forever. And just because a storm is brewing doesn't mean that it's going to affect you. Stand in your authority and do not allow people, places, and things to waver your faith. No matter who you are, in the meantime, in between time, collective, you will always, does not matter, hear about something going on that you're not in agreement with, that you're not comfortable with, or you want to give an opinion on. Spirit is saying for you to pull back your energy from engaging in these conversations that you know, and only you know what I'm about to say, that makes you feel some kind of way. If watching too much television or the news, projecting a lot of negative energy, that NLP being thrown at you, if that bothers you, then you know what to do. Don't watch so much, watch less. If watching certain movies bother you, don't watch them, watch something different. You're in full control. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to be in the know of everything. We are all, we have our own world that we are living in. We are all a smaller simulation living in a bigger world. And from time to time, we find ourselves constantly, some of us intruding into other people's simulation, forcing ourselves into the worlds of other people. When we really need to stay in our own bubble. You stay in your own bubble. You're trying to go in somebody else's bubble. If you see they over there in that bubble and they stressed and they worried, why do you want a piece of that? Go over to the bubble where you see them smiling and they co-creating and progressing in life. If you want to assert yourself somewhere, go assert yourself where the folks are winning, where the folks are developing apps and writing books and becoming successful and creating generational wealth. If you want to be involved with that, okay? A lot of the old things, like I was speaking on earlier, may no longer interest you. You may be someone whom you would get off work and you don't mind turning up, having a drink or a smoke or something with your friends. But now that's starting to bore you. This is for somebody Pacific. You're not even interested. You may have even cut some vices. Maybe you stop smoking. Maybe you stop drinking. And it can be whatever, okay? To each his own, okay? But those things are happening naturally. They're supposed to happen. It's time for you to do more. Your spirit is being called because it's time for you to move on. This does not mean that the people you were having a beer with or having a cigarette with or whatever you do, that they're bad people. It just means that it's time for you and your energy to move on, to go forward. Your soul is calling for more. The same if you're in a romantic connection that you're outgrowing. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your spouse. It means your soul is calling to do something different. Let's do something different. I want more. I'm bored being here. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. So don't look at it that way. Change is supposed to happen. Your desires are going to change. That's why there are a lot of people, to each his own, but there are a lot of people who don't believe in marriage. And I get it because your desires are going to change. Your desires are going to change. And what about your goals and your purpose that you want to fulfill? So if you sign this contractual agreement, number one, number two, when you have a spouse in a family, period, whether you have children or a spouse, you must always consider your family. You must always consider your spouse. So if your desires change and you're in a contractual agreement, what happens to your purpose? What happens when your desires change? It's just a question. What happens? You have to consider your family, whether you're married or not. If you have a family, if you have children, you have to consider them. I don't care if you have one child. Every move you make, you have to consider them. So there are people who don't believe in marriage, but I say to each his own, do whatever you want to do. Okay. I don't debate about that. You're not going to be loved any less because you're not married. That's a lie. We all are loved. Okay. But your desires are going to change and it's natural. So we have to stop. Spirit is saying, stop beating yourself up. It's okay to not want what you thought you wanted 10 years ago. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It just means it's time to move on. But people often receive, this is for someone who really needs to hear it, separation or requirement or request for divorce. They don't like hearing that truth. People run from this topic, but I don't care. They rather stay or force it. But if you stay and you force it, what are you doing to yourself? And if you do have children, what are you doing to the children? What are they witnessing? How are they being impacted? Is the environment healthy? Just because you go in a room and close the door and you shout at each other doesn't mean that there isn't an impact, especially spiritually and energetically speaking. Even if you have a newborn child, that baby can even feel the pressure, even in the womb. That child can feel the intensity. When it's not working, collective, it's not working. And you know who you are. It's just not working. And talking about it is really a waste of time. It's time to get to walking about it and moving about it. There's no need to call somebody outside of you and ask them what you should do. Because at the end of the day, the beginning and the middle, you're with you every day, all day. And only you know how you feel. No one can tell you what you should do. But you have to be willing to keep the faith. Keep the faith, keep that light inside you and let it guide you. You take a step, spirit will take a step. The divine will take a step. Whatever it is that you're worried about, you're concerned about. This is for somebody Pacific. You want to leave so bad, but you're concerned about something. You're playing it out in your head. You're going back and forth. Oh, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. Of course, you're going to have to make some changes. That don't mean you can't get it back. Especially if it's material, material gain is illusional wealth. It is nice to accomplish these things, but it'll never sustain the soul. It will never fulfill you. Material gain is illusional wealth. Those things can be replaced. It may even be replaced with something bigger and better. But I mean, you may want to sacrifice yourself, but if you are a parental figure, be mindful. Don't sacrifice the children's happiness and have them growing up with trauma and negative imprints because you refuse to leave a connection. And don't punish the offspring. You can do what you want, but this is the message. The ancestors want somebody to know, don't punish the babies. Get the babies up out of there. The sweet, sweet little ones, the sweet, sweet, sweet ones. If it's not right, it's not right. And the longer you stay, it's not going to get any better. But this is your season. So, like I said, of receiving justice, those who have been mishandling their authority, they are receiving a different end of the stick. And this is new to them. And they're not liking it. They're not liking it, especially if you're in a particular tax bracket and, you've been getting away with doing something for so long. You feel like, no one's going to come tell you to sit down. No one's going to correct you or check you. But there are people who are being checked and put in their place, where they have to sit and think about some things. How did I get here? Okay, how did I get here? No, did he? How did I get here? What happened? What happened? Okay. Yeah. Perfect. And we have death and rebirth. Okay, we have the Scorpio energy here. Death and rebirth. Time for a rebirth. Time for a do-over. This is what the shift is about. This is what the clarity the massive dose of clarity. I have a couple of readings on that in my archives. Check out that video. But there's a massive dose of clarity being distributed. It's going to be going down for some years back, repetitively, in a good way. And this is something that we all need. Just because, you pray for something, you're manifesting something, you're hoping for something, just because it doesn't arrive in that shiny box that you expected doesn't mean that it's not happening. So Spirit is saying, be careful, don't be fooled, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled and thinking that, oh, it's not happening, give up all hope and go into your pity zone. And, it's happening for you, but you're under the impression that it's not happening for you, and little do you know, this is right around the corner. This is right around the corner. So be patient, trust the process. Whatever your belief system is, this is the time to believe. This is the time to flex that mustard seed. This is the time to flex your faith, If you want to compete, as much, competing that people do, especially on the social media scene, if you want to compete, let's flex our faith. Let's show how much faith we got by not wavering, by staying focused on ourselves, remaining grateful, and making sure we're centered and grounded so that we're ready and prepared to receive the Ten of Pentacles, so that we're ready and prepared to accept the love and the harmony in our household and the abundance and prosperity. Okay? Spirit knows with the Nine of Wands about what you have been through. These sticks represent everything that you've been through and you've endured. And this wand that is lit is saying, I've arrived. I've made it through. Yes, I'm bruised, but I'm not broken. I've made it through. I've been through a lot, everyone. I've been through a lot, but I'm here. I'm still here, and nothing has broken me. I'm here to receive my justice. I'm here to receive my moment. I have been enlightened through my experiences. The Nine of Wands is perseverance. I love the Nine of Wands. Oh, yeah, that's that overcoming energy. Blocks that people try to send in your way, people who have tried to sabotage you, slander you, you stepped right over it. You kept going. If you want to be prepared. He's sitting there chilling with the dog, like, look at this big old pinnacle. I don't know where I'm going to travel to next. Look how big and beautiful it is. My, isn't God good? Don't waver your faith. Don't throw in the towel yet. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? The ancestors know. They're fully aware. They're fully aware. That's who's pulling this person to calmer waters. Now, looking at these waves here, you know darn well that this is a rocky situation. You can trust and believe, but look how she's staying 10 toes down, and she has a bag in her hand. She's standing in the middle of this boat. Look at the waters. Now, we know how strong water is. It's very powerful. It's healing. It's cleansing. Water does a lot of things. It represents renewal. But at the same time, while the wind is crashing and those waves are hitting that boat, she's standing in the middle, hair blowing, scarf blowing, but she's aligning herself and allowing her spirit teams. This could represent your ancestors or your spirit totems, okay? Just because you see a black bird, it doesn't mean anything negative. See, this is what I mean. That's what somebody needs to hear. See, I got to interrupt because, see, I'm picking up on your energy, even if you click on or click off. That's how this goes. I'm picking up on your energy. Just because you see a black bird doesn't mean that that's negative. That is also a positive omen. But see, it's all about self-awareness and self-development. So if you're not working on your self-awareness and development, you will assume when you see a black bird, ooh, that's negative. That's a black bird. To each his own. We all have our own bubbles that we're living in, our own worlds. You are also a creator of your own world. You also have authority of what you choose to believe. You don't have to debate and battle nobody over what something means. But if you feel this is something negative, this is for somebody that needs to hear. well, it's negative to you. But the next viewer is going to look at it and say, oh, those are so beautiful. That is my spirit totem. You know, that's why it's good to work on using your discernment, spiritual awareness, developing yourself so you'll know. You don't go with what you hear somebody else say and ride it out and carry that with you through your whole life. That right there have folks missing out on a whole lot of beautiful opportunities because you know folks are likely to take something they've heard or seen and they run with it. But either way, she's standing strong, 10 toes down, and I can imagine that these waves are hitting this boat and this boat is rocking. She's allowing her spirit totems, whether they are crows or not, to pull her to calmer waters. Okay? This is the Six of Swords. To pull her to a more calm and smoother situation where there is harmony, where there is abundance, where there is peace. Okay? Beautiful read. Everything is going to be okay. Don't you worry about a thing. Because everything's going to be all right. Oh, yeah, we sing on key or off key. Don't you worry about a thing. Because everything's going to be all right. Look at that. I love this. I love this right here. Woo, that's that faith. Ain't worried about a thing. You better get away from there. No, I'm not. I'm protected. I'm straight. Yes, I am a risk taker. We're taking leaps of faith here. We're practicing leaps and bounds. We're exercising our faith with the Fool energy. So what may look foolish to another, you may have had people maybe assume that you were weak or naive or you didn't know any better. Metaphorically speaking, collective, they could have seen you make choices or decisions in your life where to them it looks like you're taking a risk, like you're taking a risk. I can't believe, oh, you're gonna hurt yourself. You better get away. And you're like, oh, this is nothing. Relax, relax. So you may have had a lot of misjudgment. I'm picking up someone who's been misjudged, people being misinformed about who you really are. But they're finding out at this time in your life, they're finding out the truth. And a lot of people are shocked. A lot of people are shocked and surprised. And a lot of folks are in reflection, that misjudging you, mistreating you was a major sacrifice. And they wish and regret they would have not, partaken in the deeds that they have towards you. With the hangman, they're reflecting on that and they're receiving that enlightenment. That their actions were wrong, and it was a lie. The rumors you heard, they were a lie. The misjudgment, they were a lie. That was all unwarranted energy projected towards the collective. But it's okay. It's made you stronger. It's made you wiser. And the great thing, that we all can appreciate, as Maya Angelou, the late great Maya Angelou, say, when someone shows you who they are, just simply believe them. And the great thing about that is when someone shows you who they are, it lets you know we're not to waste your time. It lets you know, I'm just feeling guided to pick up things. It lets you know we're not to waste your time. So you have to be grateful when people show you who they are, because it lets you know where you shouldn't waste your time any longer. It really lightens the load, collective. We gotta appreciate, see, we gotta shift our perception here. Okay, this is getting real good here. Okay, this is getting good. The things that we feel is bad, when we're going through something, we go to our emotions, we may cry, cuss, scream, fight, punch the air, but in hindsight, down the line, we look back at these things and really, you got to appreciate when people show you who you are. So if you know nothing, know this, because the statement I'm about to say, I hope you carry it with you and use it for your highest good. When people show you that they have no compassion for you or respect for you, just simply fall back from that person because they're helping you lighten the load. They're showing you where not to waste your time. They're showing you that they're not real, that they're not authentic. They're showing you that, they're fake. They're showing you that they're not worthy of your time and your presence. So you have to respect and honor. We have to come out of getting upset. I'm having an aha moment right here. The moment a person shows you that they have no respect for you, that they have, you know, unpure intentions for you, they're hoping to see you at your weakest, at your lowest, just simply remove yourself. You don't need to announce your arrival or your departure. Just simply remove yourself from the equation and then see what answer they come up with. Because your presence will be missed, but you have to sever ties and do it permanently. And you can't have a group of three friends and you decide not to deal with the green one here, but I'm not going to deal with the green one, but I'm gonna deal with this brown one here. No, you can't do that because they both are friends. If you're dealing with this one, you're dealing with that one. And it's not about being cold or malicious. It's that old saying of nipping it in the bud. You can't be in a group and say, I'm gonna deal with this one, but not deal with these two either, or vice versa. You have to nip your situations in the bud. And this comes to family, friends. If you know, and it's unfortunate, but if you really want peace in your life, it has to be done. If you know that you have karmics and toxic people in your life, whether related or not, and they are associated with people who they may be innocent bystanders, but check this out. If they're still dealing with that toxic or karmic person who means you no good, guess what? They have to get cut also. Because if you don't, you'll stay on the hamster wheel with them. You'll stay on that karmic hamster wheel with them. If it's not gossip going back and forth, or brown green going back telling brown your business, it'll be some kind of friction. And so that's called nipping it in the bud. That's what I was saying. It'll be some kind of friction. So you can't, I'm gonna deal with this one, but I ain't gonna deal with them too. No, when you're dealing with this one, you're dealing with all of them. Because whatever you're experiencing in your life, whatever business you're sharing with the green, they going back and they telling the other two, and maybe you don't want them to be part of your life because energy is real or part of what you have going on. You don't need anyone tainting your energy, your plans, for you, your family, your children, whatever it is. It's not about being in fear. Oh, I'm here and I ain't scared of you. I'm smarter than you. Okay, all right, spirit. It's about being smarter. Because we don't operate out of fear. That's false evidence appearing real. We don't operate over here out of fear, but just being wiser. You don't need nobody tainting your growth and your development, or trying to sabotage. So unfortunately, it's true. You got to cut folks off. And there may be some people who have not done nothing to you. Like, well, why you don't deal with me? Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell y'all something. They know why you don't deal with them. Because they're connected to the troublemaker, or they're connected to the toxic person, or they're connected to this person that stole from you. I can go down a list, but we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. So if you really want that peace in your life, you got to cut them all loose. You really do. Because when you deal with one, you're dealing with them all. If that person is connected to people you no longer deal with, it's like still giving them access to your life. That's my theory. That's my opinion. I stand on it. And yeah, I said it. So... And you can't be a Care Bear. It's called self-preservation. The five, look, this is the five. Five represents change. You cannot be a Care Bear. And nobody is put in your life to be there forever, and vice versa. They're not supposed to be with you forever, and you ain't supposed to be with them forever. And it doesn't always have to be toxic. It could be you just outgrown each other, or it could be, as I just spoke on, your soul could be calling to do more or want to experience something different. And if that group of people, friends or family member, is not on that frequency, then you must move on. You're not going to block your own blessings and sacrifice yourself. Like, come on. Come on. You don't want to find yourself constantly, singing the same old song, being the victim mentality. You keep showing up to family gatherings. You keep showing up to these invites. Stop going to them invites. It's more of this dark energy waiting in the shadows to meet you than positive energy. You are the light at the party. And these are the rest of the hateful family members or the friend circles, who invite you, but they're measuring you up. They're probably talking about your outfit, what you wear, because you're looking good. You looking good and you're getting attention. Oh, and don't be turning heads. It's really a problem. Okay, but you have to come out of this energy of putting yourself here in this Nine of Swords. You have to stop showing up, stop accepting the invite, stop answering the calls. And this doesn't have to be confrontational. This is simply from you removing yourself from the equation. I'll do it again. Removing yourself from the equation, okay? And leave folks with their own energy. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be a spat. Everything doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going on social media and thinking I cuss you out. All that crashing out and, Spirit says it's time to fight different. Spirit says it's time to fight different, collective. That's this right here. Spirit says it's time to fight different. That's my little noise maker. We do arts and crafts over here. But Spirit says it's time to fight different. It's time to fight different. You don't have to be confrontational. You don't even have to be vocal. Use your silence and use your actions. That's what speaks the loudest. But because we are programmed, people are programmed, take that we back, to believe otherwise. You need to know. It's right in the palm of your hand. You are in full control. The choice is yours. Whether you want to have days of happiness and bliss and abundance and prosperity. Do you want to wake up with a beautiful smile? Look at that beautiful smile she got. Look, y'all, I did it. It's working, y'all. Look, I can levitate. I can manifest. Look, y'all. Look. Oh, I love it. I'm even manifesting people of like-minded energy. They want to build like I want to build. And guess what? They not a hater. Look, y'all, look. Woo. It's all about making sure that you're doing that work to work on self-mastery. It takes time to get there. It don't happen overnight. But constantly working on developing your self-awareness, knowing who you are, finding your purpose. That is something individual. It'll happen on its own timing. It's not going to happen at the same time. Maybe next lifetime you'll get it if you don't get it this one, but you don't have to kick yourself. Change is presently taking place on a massive scale, and it's a beautiful thing. It's not as dark as your mental faculties, your mind space may be having you think that it's very dark, and it's not dark like that. It's actually like this opal here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, and you will look back, in history, maybe talking to your grandchildren one day. Speaking of your life, things you have experienced and endured, and maybe your grandchildren will be speaking to you and wanting advice, and you'll be speaking about things you experienced and how you thought it was almost over, but you overcame, how you learned how to work your magic and how you overcame and how you made it out, All right. So we have the star player here, and you are who matters. No one matters more than you. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not, hype me up, flip a T, hype me up, hype me up. Look, you ain't hyping yourself up, baby, ain't nobody outside you gonna do it for you. They not. Don't hold your breath. They not gonna do it. Nobody wants you more happier than you, collective. Nobody wants you more successful, more peace. Nobody wants you to have peace more than you. There are people out here, let me tell you something. Don't spend your life fighting to prove a point to people who don't even like themselves. Collective, don't spend your life fighting to prove a point to people who don't even like themselves. And I don't care if you're measuring your worth or your value. This was somebody need to hear this off of material-ish. I don't care if somebody got a mansion and you may have an efficiency. So what? You got a home. I don't care if your friend got a car and you got a bus pass. So what? You're getting around. You got an Uber app, a Lyft app. So what? You're moving. Don't assume that, they happy because they got this. It's not material things that will ever make you happy. Happiness, true happiness and true love comes from within. And that means that it's sustainable to the soul. That means that it can't be taken away from you. That means when circumstances come your way, when storms come and get to a brewing, you're not worried. You're monitoring it, you're observing it, you may acknowledge it, but you're not letting it stress you. You know that the divine has your back. You're trusting and knowing that it's going to work out A-okay. There are a lot of things you have overcame in your life. There's a lot of things and a lot of situations, of these Six of Swords where you have made it to smoother, calmer situations. And Spirit is saying a good idea would be, and I've been told to distribute this a lot in a lot of my reads, is for people, all of us, to always remember and tap into all the things that you've overcame. If the past ever want to pop up in your life and your mindset or whatever, while you stirring your ramen noodles, that's for somebody. Maybe you're eating noodles. Okay, look. Tap into all the times that you have overcame and survived a situation. And the same strength and the same God that was present then is present now and always have been. It's just up for you to speak up, use your hecker, and put in a request. Go into counsel with your spirit team. Go into counsel with the divine. Just like I'm talking to you, have a conversation. It's not weird. It's not a weird thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Because if I don't know nothing, I know one thing. It's better to rely on the spiritual than the physical. Nobody's going to want you to shine more than you. There are so many people unhealed and unhappy. And I don't say that to be funny. It's just the truth. It's part of my journey. This is the message, and I have to deliver the message. Whether I'm liked, whether you get angry, whatever, I have to do my part and trust my process. So when I'm speaking, I have to stand on it. And I don't mind. I don't mind being the enigma. I don't mind. Somebody got to do it, and I'm the right candidate. Later.